Voice actors talking about voiceover things on
Indeed.
this voiceover Monday. It's a lot of voiceovers. I hope you all are having a great start to your week so far. If you are new, please, as always, subscribe to us. Hit that like button, share it with a friend, as well. Yeah,
The little
and
bell. The little
yes,
bell for
the
notifications. Yeah.
notification, the notification bell, very
Yeah.
important. Also, make sure you leave us a comment. Tell us where you're from.
Yeah.
Tell us and ask questions. We love questions. Questions make the world go round.
Indeed.
So ask us, ask us, ask us. Well, it's Monday, and we had. I hope you had a good weekend, by the way, Gabby.
I did. It went fast.
Yes,
It was
it
fast.
did go fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did go fast. John, good to see you.
John, goodness gracious.
Yes. So today we are chatting about mic placement, using mics,
Mhm.
yelling, screaming, whispering, all that jazz with your microphone.
Mhm.
And probably one of the things for me that was definitely a huge learning curve when I
Mm,
started out. Yeah, I mean, just being able to understand what I could and could not do with a microphone.
for sure.
I wanted to do so much, especially with character stuff, that when I started, you put these amazing characters together, whatever, and typically, character actors, especially, we are taught, to uh, control that character with your diaphragm and
Mhm.
full breath and a full lung, a full your lungs full of air and all that jazz. And then when we are speaking, inevitably we get louder
Mhm.
when that comes, right? So because of that, you if you're not aware of microphone placement, what your microphone can and can't do, as well as every microphone also has a limit,
Oh my gosh,
right? It
they're
has a
all
limit
so
to how loud it
different.
can, how much dB it can actually take.
Mhm.
So, and we, that's we were talking the other day. You mentioned things about frequency response. There's a
Mm.
lot of interesting things diving into the microphone that you don't know about unless until you learn.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about today. So, Gabby, what do you start off,
Oh man.
talking about when someone is, asking that question? Hey, I'm just starting out. What do I do if I've got to get
Yeah.
louder or softer when I'm talking into a microphone?
Biggest thing is I'm like, play, man. Get on it and just play. First of all, don't be afraid of it, right? You're not gonna hurt it. Everybody's always so I don't know, there's like a hesitation,
Hmm.
like something terrible is gonna happen. There are
Oh
very few
yeah.
microphones that are so sensitive that just using it is going to create a problem. So it's like you've got to really just get on your mic and play spatially, play with distance, play with placement, move yourself around, move the mic around, and really until you're comfortable with that, because so many of the questions we get about levels and about, yeah, what can I and can't I do, I don't, there's not like a lot of cut and dry right and wrong. You just have to mess around with it. Um,
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah. Go
that's
ahead.
a really, I think just a huge part of building up that comfort level and, getting in there and doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's so when we're looking at your sound, we kind of look at there are two things, main things we're trying to avoid,
Mm,
and they're different. So first thing, of course, that we're always all of us are trying to avoid is clipping, right? And
yeah.
that's where we're so loud that it literally clips your audio.
Yeah.
There will
Overmodulation.
Right, there is no, the audio goes off, there is none. It clips it, right? That's clipping. However, I will admit that's extreme.
Hmm.
It's not often done, but it can happen, of course.
Oh yeah.
What happens more often, I call it, is overloading. All right, your microphone, and basically that's where we are too loud to where you get this sound where it sounds kind of like or has this kind of this like sounding like.
It honks. It gets
it,
very, like,
like a moose.
honky. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
like it
Right,
it's
exactly, exactly. It turns into this like digital type of um sound to where it's a little muffled, it's
Mhm.
granulated and things like that, so that it clearly is not fun to listen to, and you cannot, work with that audio. There are a few things in Adobe Audition, for example, that you can clean it up using the auto heal occasionally
Mhm,
in
mhm.
some situations,
Yeah,
but most of the time, you have to re-record those
yeah.
situations, and that's kind of like part of what we're talking about today too, is how to avoid that.
Mhm,
So first, after Gabby was talking about playing, which I love that you brought that up, because I
mhm.
agree completely with you. So many times they just get afraid of this thing, and
Yeah,
that it's just gonna break if if they move it a centimeter over or something, and so they become we just become like these robots, like
right, right, right.
and we're scared of it.
I'm gonna tell you something really funny because, I know you have the RE27, and, that's the classic radio broadcast mic, like, every radio station in the country uses that microphone.
Yes.
And when you come out of radio, one of the interesting things is we are typically not equipment shy. And the main reason why is because if you work in a radio station, you watch people use, abuse, and
Hmm.
batter those mics. I mean, we
Yes.
slam them around. Like, yeah, I've seen DJs get pissed off and just smack the mic like into a
Oh
wall
yeah.
really hard. I mean, just crazy stuff. And one of my favorite stories is, an engineer that I used to work with, a field engineer in radio, had said that they were doing a live remote once, and he doesn't, whatever. His assistant put the microphone on the ground, and one of the promotions drivers backed over it in a van. Yeah, a 2-ton cargo van backed over the microphone.
Oh
Guess
my
what?
goodness.
The RE27 survived.
It
It
survived.
prevailed. Yeah, because they really are. Some mics are just tanks. So I don't suggest backing over your microphone, but it's just to illustrate they're a lot sturdier than most people think they are.
Oh,
Anyway,
absolutely.
but yeah, like, proximity effects, proximal effects, whatever you want to call it, does wonders in terms of our performance and creating environments and creating scene work on mic. Whereas if you don't use those techniques, everything is just sort of flat. It's just sort of the same all the time. So, I guess we could illustrate. We could have some fun here.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Real quick before that, I mean, just so everybody knows. So, we the ideas of, and I guess we could show it, right? The ideas of is when we are closer to our mic, because remember when we were talking about this earlier, right? It was we were talking about how do we whisper, or what happens, what do
Mhm,
we do when the
mhm,
mic gets closer to us,
mhm.
right? How do we change our volume level
Right.
and so forth? What does that actually do? So from a standpoint of your mic getting closer, all right, typically when your mic gets closer, you have to think, because it's getting closer, it's going to be louder if you maintain the same level, right,
Mhm,
of your volume. So the
mhm.
closer a microphone gets, right, you need to get quieter.
Yeah.
All right, you got to get quieter to the microphone, but the
Mhm.
closer it gets, it will still maintain the same level even
Yeah.
though you're getting quieter. And then the cool thing is, right, and we call it proximity to your microphone. That proximity gives you a really cool sensation. So if you're coming to your microphone and we're getting really close to the microphone, this is a really cool sound.
Good old ASMR.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Right, that's how ASMR
Yep.
and some other late night shows go
Yeah.
on, right? So, but it shows intimacy. It can also be a differentiator if you're trying to do an internal monologue as opposed
Mhm,
to
mhm,
external
mhm.
dialogue.
Yep,
There's a lot of things that you can do with getting that microphone up close to you.
there is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, we use what I call a microphone whisper. So a mic whisper is, if I were to actually whisper on mic, it would it just sounds terrible, right?
Right.
The mic is not properly activating. It's not properly picking up. It sounds kind of weird. So what we do on mic is this really funny thing where we don't actually whisper at all. We kind of strangle our voice to the back of our throat. It's kind of like when you have a sore throat. And so we pull all the bass out of our voice and we make it sound like we're whispering because we're mirroring the effect of whispering, but we're not whispering at all. Everybody can hear exactly what we're saying.
Right.
And it kind of, again, it creates a new dynamic. And one of the things that is often married with that is that you over enunciate or you over pronounce the way you do if you're somewhere where you're speaking really quietly and you want that other person to get everything you're saying. So it kind of over exaggerated.
Absolutely correct. That's
Yeah.
exactly how. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
its inverse, right? The mic yell is again equally as hilarious because we're
Mm,
not yelling. Our
right.
volume is almost identical in all cases. The mic yell is really what you're doing is you're mirroring. It's really loud in here and I can't hear you. So, do you want to go somewhere quiet? And
Hmm.
you're kind of giving that internal idea of like, I'm deaf right now and I can't hear myself talk, so I sound sort of funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and those work
And
really
so.
well.
Oh, of course. And this is where we as practitioners of a craft
Mm,
have to uh, learn these different ways of manipulating our voice
definitely.
so that it sounds a certain way, but we can still record it and that it doesn't overload.
These are also gateway techniques
Mm,
to a number of other techniques and other really fun things that you can do, like from a character perspective.
hmm.
But you've got to start with some of those basics and
Hmm.
really kind of capture again how your unique environment, your microphone interplays. Looking ahead at some of the comments, Strange Storm Cat was asking, do you have marks like tape or other to put your microphone back in exactly the same place?
Mm,
That's a really fun question. I don't because my answer to that is typically, Cat, if you're in your own studio, your height's not changing. So the standard height level of your mic is consistent. It's always going to be the same. But what I do mark with my fun grease pencils, which I'm a big fan of, um, is my interface.
mm,
And so
mm.
I have little dog ear marks on my interface that allow me to know, okay, this is my standard level, this is my quiet level, and this is
Right.
my loud level, and I can adjust within those.
Oh, absolutely. Also, depending on what, interface you have,
Mhm.
like so, for example, as I use the Universal Audio Apollo Twin,
Same.
you can also save presets
Mhm.
on there.
Yep.
So you'll have like a yelling preset or a loud character preset, a quiet
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
A lot of time because on since it's a digital, not an analog, most of them are
Mhm.
analog, meaning that we have to, if we want to manipulate our sound pre post, we
Mhm.
have to hook up old hardware, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
preamps and things like that. But on a digital one, right, we can do it on, we can do it through the actual interface, and you can manipulate it online. There's,
Yep.
digitally. So like for this, so there's all sorts of with you can have compression before or after. Like right now, mine has compression going on
Mm.
and so forth and things. If I turn that off, it gets even worse. And then interestingly enough, on a side note, I got this new computer and I still had some little issues manipulating the levels with my RE20 on my new computer, which is interesting, right? But my mic, my booth, I don't have any issues. But anyways, that's another thing that you'll find is different computers make it's interesting, different newer ones, different interfaces, all that jazz. But yeah, you can do all kinds of presets as well.
Yeah.
I love the idea that what you just said too. That's a very easy way to mark.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, early on, I really did what Kat was just saying. I really tried to recreate all the time, but it's interesting as time has gone
Um,
on. I'm like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as much
Mhm.
anymore to me because I realize it is more about me controlling my voice, no matter where the microphone is,
That's true.
than the microphone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which is different, right? You as you go on, you learn more about how. Because I always say the input starts with us, right? We are the input.
Mhm.
We are it. So every mistake, everything. I mean, it comes from us. Really, most of the time, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
again, looking ahead, some fun questions. Alex said, so like a stage whisper. Yes, exactly.
Mm,
Stage whisper, stage
absolutely.
yell. And then he gave a fun anecdote. He said, my 10-year-old naturally projects all the time and plays pretend a lot. At dinner, he asked how he was supposed to act mad quietly. So I
Mm.
Mike yelled at him across the table. The wife said, like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Um, yeah, because it's one of those funny things too where I think people don't realize that emotions and volume are not like mutually exclusive. You can be mad, you can be like literally steam coming out of the top of your head mad, but still be quiet.
Absolutely, and it helps you explore different ways of expressing emotion, right? Because remember, we part of, you can build intensity through anticipation,
Oh yeah.
right? Instead of, 'cause there's always two types of that very kinetic type of energy. There's
Mhm.
the loud, but then there's the silent one, right? There's the quiet one, there's the pause one, there's the one that really it just makes you feel like something that is coming because you are building anticipation, and that intensity can be, that funny thing, right? Loud. It's never been so loud, or what is it? Quiet. The quiet has never been so loud.
So loud,
So I
yeah.
mean, that's true, right?
I always say I will take the screamer and the yeller any day of the week. It's the person who gets really quiet and is like, "I don't wanna talk to you right now."
Right, right,
They
right.
scare me. That's the one that scares the hell out of me because I'm like, "That person is volatile.
Oh
That
yeah.
they mean business." Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh,
Lots of fun questions that are making me think. You know what? I think we should make it Technique Week.
oh, I love
Let's
that.
Yeah, so,
I love that.
someone was asking about audiobook techniques and punch and roll, so I think that that would be a fun
That's a
topic for
really great
tomorrow.
topic. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
And, yeah, guys, we're gonna christen it. It's Technique Week, so bring us your technique questions. What else? What else did people say? Did we miss anything?
Let's see. We have Tracy said I've used string lengths that are numbered for preset situations.
Hmm.
Hmm. So I'd always remember I told you I'd said it
Okay.
before, but I'll say it again. Do whatever you can. Be funny too.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
told I told Gabby about the
The
cutting
ear.
out the ear
Yeah.
and putting it on my
Yep.
microphone, and that
Mhm.
was literally a silly way for me to think about that I'm not yelling, I'm not projecting the same,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
here's an interesting thing about about all of this. When as an actor on a stage, we are trained from the moment you step on a stage, or from the moment you start till whenever you leave, right? That everything starts from your diaphragm.
Mm.
Interestingly enough, one of the biggest revelations I had was, of course, we always have that breath control that's needed, but talking from my throat,
Mhm.
that was an interesting. And by the way, some of these things you say, it's how they mean to you. It's what works for you. So what Gabby
Yeah.
was saying
Yeah,
about
yeah,
playing
yeah.
around,
Mhm.
what you find works for you, I might be like, "Oh, that's weird," or vice versa, right? But
Mhm.
if it works for you, it works. So like for me, I learned from talking from my throat to sound like as sounding more conversational, relaxed, was different than me when I really start to talk, right, from that, and that was still
Right.
quiet for me. So like a lot of like learning talking, it's almost like I'm barely speaking right
Mm.
here, compared to what I've done in the past, but it's because I get this from I'm more constricted in my throat. What you said earlier about, right, putting it back of your throat, controlling it, so we're
Mhm.
manipulating the way it
Mhm.
sounds to us even though we're not screaming.
Absolutely.
you
But
know?
also though, but you're right, but breathing, you
Mhm,
don't realize till you start doing that how much breathing plays a role.
mhm.
Something I see people do a lot of times, and pitch plays a big part in this. You can pitch yourself into a corner, where your pitch starts rising and rising, and
Oh,
eventually
yeah.
you run out of air because
That's right.
like you're like a balloon that is completely deflated.
Mhm.
And it's learning, "Oh, man, okay, I have to take a breath long before that happens, and where and how," and again, I think play is the only way we get there.
Oh,
Um
yeah. Oh, yeah, and an interesting thing about parts of our voice, the amount of sound or amount of air that
mm,
you're pushing through, and then the restricting that air that you're pushing through changes the sound of your voice. So like closer I get,
yes.
if I start pushing less air through, I
Mhm,
get this really kind of
yep.
interesting
Mhm,
grovelly type of. I can start to manipulate, sound like someone completely different than what I sound
mhm.
like because I've learned that I can still make noise by I can make different types of noise also by manipulating the airflow. Now we know that intuitively the louder we get, many of us character actors, right? We just get louder and it helps us push out things
Mhm.
that are not normal. But remember, most of us don't realize you can do because we have a mic right here. You can constrict that air and also make you sound different.
I'll tell you something, and it's a fascinating little rabbit hole if anybody wants to go down it. We have our body, right, and our voice has long been compared to a guitar
Mm.
because it's the same premise as an acoustic guitar, right? The hollow cavity and then the vocal cords as the strings. If you've ever heard a guitar and gone, how is that one instrument? How are
Mm.
those different tones being made, or how is that style changing so dramatically? Look at that, research it, because one of the things you're going to see is that the way the guitar is played, the way the air is plugged, the way different strings are used, it really does significantly influence, and it can make an instrument sound totally different than it normally does. We're
Oh,
the same way.
that's why I think it's amazing too, those people who really do the all those different. I mean, I know it's beatboxing is one of it, but it's more of all the different noises
So
that
fun.
the
Yeah,
human voice is
yeah,
incredible because we can really with work I mean, make
yeah.
sound like any instrument almost out there,
It's
right? I mean,
amazing.
it's amazing. So, but
So
anyways, I love this idea. We're on our time
yeah.
for Technique Week. I think that's fantastic. So we'll be coming back tomorrow with some more technique stuff. I know Alex just had a something about does that make a voice rumble in the chest? I've been trying to figure that one out. Yeah,
Mm,
so that idea of the maybe the glottal and all that, the vocal
mhm.
fry. Well, there's vocal fry, and that really is where your voice is fried. And it's
Yeah.
been great, but we can manipulate a little bit to give it a glottal sound to where it almost turns into that old wisdom kind of guy that's got wisdom.
Mm,
I've been around for a long time, that kind of thing, right? So it's a character-ish, but
yeah,
yeah, there's so we're definitely gonna grab and get into all that. Thank you guys so much. All
yeah.
right. Well, you have a wonderful Monday. Don't forget, check out. We are in our beginning of our second semester. It's going amazing. We've got some awesome classes this
I'm
week.
teaching branding tonight. I'm
You are
looking
doing
forward
I'm
to
so
it.
excited for that
Mhm.
class. That is
Yeah,
going to
it's
be
gonna be great.
awesome. All right. And we've got script workout this week, as well as character with Bonnie.
That's
Bonnie
gonna be so
Williams,
fun.
the
Oh my
amazing
god.
Bonnie Williams, is doing her specialty class character voiceover. So very excited about that.
Woo.
You guys have a wonderful Monday. See you all later.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Adios.